If you are building Android applications and you already know that deploying to Android emulators and to devices is a pain in the neck, all the different configurations and just the memory intensiveness of running that on your machine. Well, the Windows Subsystem for Android has been around for a while and there's tons of new enhancements to it. And if you're brand new to it, it enables you to debug directly onto your Windows 11 machine, which is awesome. It's all built in and run your Android applications. And if you want to, build and ship those applications to the Amazon App Store that can run on any Amazon device or any Windows 11 device. So today I'm going to show you everything you need to know to get set up in 2023. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm James, and today we're going to be talking about the Windows Subsystem for Android, WSA. I did a video on it a while ago, and there's been tons of improvements, and someone left a very interesting comment recently, which is all about how I need to update that video. So here it is, 2023 updates for WSA. There's been tons of new things like package verification and memory usage updates, picture-in-picture mode support, partially running mode, which is one of my new favorite modes, and just a ton of other optimizations. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, if you are getting started for the very first time, one, you have to have a Windows 11 machine. And of course, you need to have a machine that is in a specific region that WSA supports. So I'll link to documentation so you can go ahead and check that out. The first thing you're going to need to do is search for the Amazon App Store. And this is going to, for all intents and purposes, enable the Windows Subsystem for Android to be installed so you can deploy to it. So you're going to want the Amazon App Store. You don't need to log in. You don't need to do anything, but basically it's going to install and it's going to pop up this dialog box that says, let's get your PC ready for the Amazon App Store. And this is that little WSA icon. So this is going to install and get everything that you need set up on your machine. So let's give it a few seconds. All right, now that it's all done, all we need to do is open the Amazon App Store. And basically this will start this little window here, which is the Windows Subsystem for Android. Now, by default, basically the Windows Subsystem for Android will only run on demand. So when you need it, for all intents and purposes, then it'll turn itself off. And there's a bunch of different modes. But whenever you launch an Android application, such as the Amazon App Store or your own application, it's going to need to boot the Windows Subsystem for Android. So this can take a few seconds that it boots the first time, but then the Amazon App Store will load. And this is an actual Android application that it's running. You can tell because there's a little arrow down here, and that's what it's running behind the scenes. But I just don't even need that. We can go ahead and turn that off and close it down. But what I'm going to do now is say the Windows Subsystem for Android. You can type that into just your file explorer. And what you'll get is the new Windows Subsystem for Android screen here. All right, so this will give you everything you need. So if you boot up files, for example, this will be an Android Files Explorer. You can see all the different Android images and icons that you would expect. Down under About, you can see information, terms of agreements, what it is. You can see apps that are installed on your machine, specifically that are Android apps. So if you go in and open the app settings, we'll see that this is like sort of an Android app screen because it is an Android application for all intents and purposes. So that's how you can get it. You can force stop it. You can do everything that you want. Now, when you go and have this on, we can see that this is going to, block it. You can turn it off automatically. But really, as a developer, you want to go into advanced settings. And the first thing that we want to do is turn on developer mode. Awesome. You're going to see that this little pop-up is going to come up for firewall. So we're just going to allow access. And that, of course, will pop up a UAC prompt for you, perhaps. If not, you should be good to go. And then we can see here that we can connect via the port that we have here. So let's go and open up our ADB prompt. I'm going to say ADB connect 127.0.0.1 and then port 58526. All right. And then what we're going to get is a pop-up. So we want to allow that we're going to debug on our Windows machine here ourselves. So just very, very similar to, because think of it as a big Android device, right? So we're going to allow. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect one more time. And it's already connected. So if I say ADB devices, we can see that it is attached here, right? So I say ADB kill server, and then ADB start server, and then ADB devices. We're going to see that it's not attached anymore. So I can go back up and connect again, and we can see that I'm connected, and I could pretty much do anything ADB related right here. Now, there are a few other things that you might want to take into consideration here. So for example, this is the as needed. This is the default. So this will only open it up, and apps are a lot slower. I like the partially running. This means it's going to use minimal resources and apps will boot up quicker, which means I'm going to debug a lot faster. And then also continuous. So if you're really just doing a ton of Android development, you might want continuous to be on. The partially running is a new mode, and I really like it. So this is the one that I'm going to use. You can also change around your memory that you have. You can even do custom. I'm just going to do 6. I got 64 gigs of RAM here, totally fine and good to go. There's graphics mode, so you can see I'm powering this by my GTX 980, but you can pick a specific GPU, different power savings mode, things like that. There's also Windows focus mode, so you can have these different options. And there's even a preview program if you want to try out new features. So this may look a little bit different as you're going. There's even other experimental features. So there's so much stuff. So advanced networking, user share folders, a whole bunch of other stuff here. So definitely check that out. So I have connected here and I can say ADB devices, just like that. All right, cool. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and debug. I could bring up Android Studio, or I could bring up Visual Studio in this case, because I'm using .NET to build my Android applications. And when I come to my drop-down window, we can see that I have Android emulators here, but I also have the Microsoft Corporation Subsystem for Android TM, Android 13.0 API 33 to debug. So that's going to be basically my machine that I'm debugging on. And I can go ahead and hit debug, package up an APK, and debug it into my local machine. So let's give this a few seconds to compile up and then deploy. All right, we're in debug mode. So actually I hit this first breakpoint, which is on resume. I can hit continue here. This is gonna boot up my Android application. And sure enough, I'm debugging. I have hit a breakpoint there. We can see that the on pause got hit when I resized it. I'm gonna go ahead and continue here. We get on resume. So we get those breakpoints that are coming in here, and there's my beautiful Android application. Now, if I go ahead and stop debugging and I come back over here, we can go back to apps, and we can see now that Android app 1 is here, the size here. I can go into the settings, for example. This is going to boot up the settings for my application. I can uninstall it. I could go in and turn on different, things that I need. So if I want to pause activity, if it's unused, for example, I could go into those settings. So I have this as just a normal setting screen here. I could also go in and then open it and uninstall it and do all that stuff, like I said. So your apps will sort of line up here. They also show up in the Windows screen here. So it's kind of off the screen here, but it's going to be in your app list basically. So you can launch it later too. So you don't have to be debugging it, but it'll just be here ready for you. All right, so that's pretty much half of it. I would say this though, if you are running into any issues inside of debugging your applications, one thing that's really nifty that they added is this manage developer settings. So this is a little bit deeper into the Windows subsystem for Android to use developer options. One thing that we can see here is that we can adjust the color mode. We can adjust USB debugging, which is going to be on, wireless debugging. And we can also select app to debug. So this is actually important. So for some reason, like the debugger is not attaching, you can actually select that. And that will go ahead and automatically sort of maybe give ADB a closer connection automatically here. So for some reason you're not hitting breakpoints or something like that, that might be worth looking at and selecting the debug app as you're sort of to work on it. So that will be sticky there in real time. So be sure here you got all these different things, all these different flags that you can go deeper into, just like a normal Android emulator or device. The other thing I want to point out really quick though, is that if for some reason, let's say I come in and I, kill the server again, and then I start it up again, we can see it disappears from Visual Studio. There we go, start server. I might not want to go in and say ADB connect over and over and over again. And that is specifically where you can come into Visual Studio if you're using Visual Studio, and you can come and search for the Barista, and you can do the Windows Subsystem for Android Barista. And I can go ahead and download this and then restart Visual Studio. So when you install an extension, this will pop up this little VisX installer, and it'll go and install the extension. So let's give this a few seconds to install and then head back over to Visual Studio, because this extension will handle everything for you automatically, which is really cool. All right, so we have installed the Barista extension inside of Visual Studio over here, so any edition. And what we can see is that I still don't have my Android emulator here popping up, which would be my WSA, so my full WSA. Now under Tools, we will specifically see Windows Subsystem for Android, that one little button there. What this will do is it'll automatically start the Windows Subsystem for Android, and additionally, it will go ahead and connect to it automatically. So here it's going to say, would you like to enable it? So we'll just say yes. It'll go ahead and run that through and run a command line automatically for us. So it'll do that. And then we can see that it actually connected automatically, and there it is. Just like that. So it's really easy to connect automatically without having to go down into the command line. All right, well, that is my 2023 overview of WSA, the Windows Subsystem for Android. What do you think? Have you been using WSA since I put up my original video and blog and all that goodness? I love WSA. Give it a peek if you haven't yet for any type of Android development. And of course, don't forget that you can easily take your Android apps, put them on to the Amazon App Store like I did, and start publishing your apps directly on Windows 11. Or of course, you can just build a Windows 11 app too. But if you just have an Android app, get it out there, which is really, really awesome. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll link to all the documentation and my previous video as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd super appreciate that. And don't forget to like and subscribe and do all that good stuff as well. So until next time, I'm James. Thanks for watching.